Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimus Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Christy Jansen, and we're part of the team behind the Optimus Daily, making Solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and shift the direction of your day to help make it one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, drinking warm apple cider vinegar water-worthy podcast. Today is Wednesday, in fact, the 24th of February, 2021.
Are you doing this in your Optimus Daily mug, at least, Summers?
So, yes, and I have my coffee in my Optimus Daily mug, which I have now finished my cup of coffee. And Christy and I were talking a little bit about health practices, and I really sort of like anchored to this article that we had on Monday about like controlling what you can, right? And allowing that to give you optimism. And for me right now, my health and wellness is just abominable, simply because the amount of stress we've been under, and like my nails are all peeling and my skin is terrible, everything. And my weight is, the COVID 40 is a joke, right? So what I decided to do, instead of focusing on taking things away from myself, like stopping bad habits, but instead introducing the good habits that I know in the past have helped me feel good and healthy and well. And so I have this 1.5 liter mug. It's actually from a truck stop on our drive to and from Austin, a Love's truck stop. And it's this enormous mug full of hot water, lemon, and a splash of apple cider vinegar. So that is one of the things that I'm reintroducing into my body, because that definitely has always made me feel good and manages appetite. And
your alkalizing tonic.
Exactly.
Good for you. That's really good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of struggling with health and eating issues.
Exactly. Speaking of mental health and emotion and management.
Yeah. What's the article you were going to highlight today?
Well, I picked, so we're going to go down a mental health road here on the Optimus Daily. And I think that that's part of, often we talk about where our heads are at. The headline that I have picked is one that our editorial team asked if, we'd be down with, because it's about a social media platform. And social media has a lot of goods and bads, but what I love is when these organizations, these companies decide to focus on ways of doing good and improving mental health. So this headline reads, TikTok adds features to support users struggling with disordered eating. Now, the sort of self-image issues that can come from looking at social media can be really huge, right? We only take pictures or share stuff about, us on our best day, except for I sort of love posting makeup-free selfies where I look a little like a train wreck.
Well, but most of the time, and if you have the Venn diagram of your entire life and the best points of your life and what gets posted on social media, it's like the little tiny blip at the top. It's what gets posted on social media. The highlights, the most exciting, the most beautiful. And also you get the right angle so that, okay, you're not wearing makeup, but you look as trim and gorgeous as you can. Even, you get the right lighting.
Exactly. Like these are neck up pictures, basically. Yeah. But what TikTok has done, and TikTok is a platform used by just tons and tons of people, generally a generation younger than those who are using Facebook. And there's some overlap in Instagram, but TikTok's got a really strong young population. They have partnered with the National Eating Disorder Association, NEDA. The goal, in honor of National Eating Disorders Awareness Week, is launching a new feature that promotes body inclusivity by raising awareness of eating disorders and offering resources to users struggling with body image issues. They talk a lot about giving a voice and a definition and an understanding of these issues. It's really about giving a vocabulary and a place to talk about it to this population, to these young people.
Yeah. The thing that I think is so clever about this is that you have to go to where your audience is. And young people are the ones who are most at risk for developing disordered eating. because disordered eating happens when you're young and it can carry out through your entire life. I'm glad that our writers put this on as a solution, because it really is a solution.
Yeah. And what I love too is that it's talking in the language, go where your audience is, but it's talking in the language and with the tools that can be most digestible for the audience. Features include public service announcements on eating disorder related hashtags to foster support for those recovering from disordered eating and discourage the glorification of disordered eating.
Along those lines, I think TikTok has already taken steps to try to not be a bastion of disordered eating and acting out there. Yeah. It's banned advertisements from fasting apps and some weight loss supplements, and it discontinued certain hashtags which promoted different kinds of disordered eating.
Right. There was like thigh gap hashtag and some of the other, notions. And the intermittent fasting trend had kind of a murky overlay with disordered eating, because in many ways it can be promotion of both anorexia and bulimia with intermittent fasting. And so doing it healthfully is something that not everyone can do, and you can't learn it from a, TikTok video, right? So it's the simplification of different methods of eating healthy that, then becomes sort of exacerbated by social media. That has to be curbed. And I'm very excited that TikTok is doing it. I'd certainly like to see Instagram stepping in and engaging on that front too.
Yeah, and I think these platforms have to acknowledge their influence on not just our social interaction, but also on our mental states. And we all live in our own minds, right? Any platform that has influence over that, if they can acknowledge that that is an issue and take action to be better stewards of our attention, I think that's really important to acknowledge and honor. So thank you, TikTok, for doing this.
Exactly.
And speaking of mental health, can I jump in?
Yeah, I was going to say, so moving on the mental health train here, what have we got?
Yes. So the article I wanted to highlight today, the headline reads, "The mental health benefits of raising the minimum wage," which are profound. And I think this is something that doesn't often get acknowledged, but I feel like it is a really important part of why it's important to try to raise up the folks who are at the lowest level of the economic ladder, because mental health and poverty are very, very closely linked. And conversely, when people are making a livable wage, rates of suicide, rates of mental health issues decline significantly, along with other kinds of health issues. Back in November, we shared how Florida increased its minimum wage to $15 an hour, and it's being debated at a national level at this point. And it's not just an economic solution, it's a whole of society type of solution. So I feel like I'm really pleased that we are highlighting that today. In fact, there was a doctor in Canada that I did a show on about 2 years ago for Solutions News. And his solution he worked in a clinic, and part of what he did was he helped the most vulnerable people in his community get access to financial services to help them improve their health and well-being. He prescribed getting more money. That was like his big prescription was, okay, well, let's get you out of this desperate financial situation you're in. Let's find the resources, the housing, the ways that we can support you so that you're not always afraid that you're not going to have a meal, or you're going to be on the street. And for right now, especially with so many people who are continued to not have steady incomes, this is really important to think about. And raising the minimum wage, even though a lot of people like to say we're going to lose millions of jobs, I think that's probably not likely. So
right. I think, there's opportunity and uplift and expansion when people are receiving a valuable wage. So we have a busy day, so let's just zip through a few of the other headlines.
Okay. Well, go read the article. It's a good article.
Yes.
Go read it on the optimusdaily.com today.
Exactly. Volunteers in New Zealand rescue stranded pilot whales in a 2-day effort. There is a darling koala who can now run freely after a dentist designs a prosthetic foot. I'm going to the dentist tomorrow, in case you wanted to know. Atlanta builds the nation's largest food force to tackle food insecurity. Green Routine. Try these 5 sustainable toilet paper brands. What else, Christy?
Zero Grocery lets you shop waste-free without leaving your home. I think this is a wonderful service. There's a flexible rent payment app, which is helping tenants avoid eviction, another great solution for avoiding poverty and homelessness. Designers are creating marble-like building blocks using salt from the Dead Sea. Facebook is about to add new label to posts about climate change. Yay, finally taking a stand there. That's a good one. And that is it for today's Optimus Daily update. Thank you so much for listening today to our show. And we promise to keep sharing these positive solution-based stories, the ideas that you can participate in the changing world and ensure is change for the good. And if you're not already an emissary, please consider becoming one if you have the means. And starting at just $5 a month, you can help support reader-funded independent journalism and be a part of the solution-changing consciousness that addresses our world's biggest challenges, the problem-solving mindset. And if you're not in that position, just take our newsletter, get involved, forward stories to people.
Follow us on social. Put it on TikTok.
Yeah. Help us keep the Office Daily free for everyone who need it, and help us spread the positive solution mindset around the world. It will make us all feel better and happier and more able to cope with all of the stresses that we deal with every day.
Exactly. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow.